Hello, fellow builders, and welcome to Mediocre Modeler Live. Well, like I said, it's late. Yeah, it's not real late. It's about, it's 10:30. And I'm up. Didn't have anything else to do. So I figured, hey, why not do a live stream? Sure, why not? So, what are we working on? Working on Bumblebee. Pick this up. Okay. So if you've been watching, you know that I had gotten a visit by Pan. So I had the COVID. Are we on? Do we have audio? I'm gonna assume we're good. Okay. Yeah. So I really couldn't go anywhere and get any more supplies, but had plenty of stuff around the house to build. And this is one of those models that you're like, okay, what am I gonna do on a rainy day? Let's build something that you have interest in, but not gonna take a lot of time. A one-day build, you know. And it actually took a little bit more than one day, but I had the Optimus, and I really wanted to, I liked them as a companion piece. Here's the thing. When I got done with it, I was on the fence because this is a really big box, and this is a really small model. I mean, that's a lot of bots for that model, and it wasn't cheap either. So I was just a little bit disappointed, but the detail is just really there, and I had to also compare it to size-wise to the Optimus before I could really say, okay, how happy or not happy am I with this? So I didn't finish it. Let's cut to this other camera. So I didn't finish it because we still have this helicopter part, right? And so that's what I was gonna work on, building the helicopter part. What the funny part is, the helicopter is the first thing that they want you to build in the instructions, the copter backpack. The thing about it, I'm a Transformers fan. I'm always gonna be, I'm Optimus Prime fan, and that Optimus Prime looks more like the Optimus Prime from the movies. It's not the Optimus Prime I was introduced to as a kid. But Optimus is cool. Well, Bumblebee is cool too, so that's why I picked it up. But I until I got it completely built, I can't say I was a complete fan of it. I was gonna do the whole thing, start to finish online, and then just things kept getting in the way, and I just started doing a little bit more and a little bit more, and then I realized it was so time consuming. If you've never done one of these Bondi, this is flame models, but one of these type of kits, they can be the instructions are really small, and my eyes are really old. And you do a lot of searching, this part is on sprue 4A, and it's like part number 12. Well, it took me a couple of times to actually figure that out, that's the way it goes, because I'm just like, well, here's part 4 on the sprue, but it doesn't look like the picture. So I just spend a lot of time searching for parts and cutting stuff out, not really even being able to have a conversation with you. Which is why I waited until I got it all assembled, and all I have left to do really is put the helicopter, the backpack part together. I grew up with the Gen 1. I'm thinking and building here, so bear with me. But I grew up with the Gen 1 Transformers, so my Bumblebee was you know, a Volkswagen Beetle, and he was really cool. And that looks like this is what it's supposed to be, but this is a different gen, I think, and it's not really my Transformers. So I just pretty much bought it on faith, you know. But it really doesn't matter. I do have my iPad in front of me here, so I can do a couple of chats too. Try. Hey guys, thanks for watching. There you go. So, anyway, that was simple enough. The other thing is, okay, so you can tell, okay, so the way these come, if you've never done this, these are molded in color, so you could literally just put them together and put them on the shelf and be done with them and be happy. The problem I have with it is the molded in colors just look, I think, horrific. If you didn't have the paints and you just want it up on the shelf, it's good enough, but for the most part, when you get it together, it just doesn't look right. It looks like plasticky, and it looks like a cheap toy. And to a certain degree, that's kind of what they've done to us. They've made the molds, and they're making us assemble our own toys. Excuse me, who really wins here? I think they win. It's a win-win for both of us. So, alright. Where did it? Oh, see, I was working on the Mandalorian too. That doesn't even belong out there. Stay. Okay. So, what are we looking for? We're looking for that piece right there. And it's a rubber part. Yeah, there we go. G2. Part number 1. Okay, that one is caught on that one. Okay. There's a problem. Oh, that's G1. That's see, you see what I mean? It's G2. These are G1. I need G2. G2. G1. Oh, see, we didn't finish our assembly. The nice thing about these also is, okay, for the most part, these are press fit. Yeah, I just messed that up. So, but they're press fit if you don't paint them first. So something really tight like that, the paint is keeping it from going all the way in. And when I twisted it, I torqued the plastic, so I'm probably going to have to glue that one there. Okay. Not fun. Oh, there it is. There it is. Little darling was hiding from me. Little rubber pieces help with the press fit. Just that simple. Alright, so we got that one done, we got that one done. And then we're going to move on to the next B1. Let's see, B1, 8. Nice thing about it is we're getting pretty close. Thinking and talking at the same time is difficult. Yes, yes, Chris, it is. How are you doing, sir? So the thing about the Transformer kits is that, you know, obviously they're going to release the most popular one. So, you know, Optimus Prime came out first. There's a Galvatron out there. Bumblebee. There's a Starscream. I've never been a Starscream fan. But you know, he's out. I'm sure people are all the rage about it. So, all right, we got that. We have the E. Let's see. G16. G1 number. Okay. G1. Number 6. I could be a little bit more organized. Alright. Let's see here. I know, probably not too exciting watching me build work on this thing. But what else you gonna do? Well, me, what else am I gonna do? 113. If I had more room, I could just have them spread out a little bit more, and that way I could have them A, B, C, D. But the truth of the matter is, this is how I build. Yes, it's chaos. E1, okay. E1 number 13. There you go. Okay. Yeah, see, sometimes these instructions too. So, all right. So you've got this part, which is that, and then you have the little rubber piece, right? And then you have the piece that slides on, obviously slides on there, and the little rubber connector piece goes in between. But on the picture, you're like, well, how's that supposed to stay in there? Actually, goes like that. Yeah. Like, well, how's that supposed to stay in there? Well, it's on. It slides in that side, and so you actually have to look at once you have all your pieces together, you really have to. Okay, you still have to kind of figure out how things are supposed to go. I usually, yeah, just use my paintbrush to line it up sometimes, if need be. And slide you on there. Easy peasy. Okay. So there's a left one and a right one. So that's that one. We're going to do number 6 again. I need to just start putting the cutters right there so I don't look all over for them every time. Feels a little bit like talking to yourself. What are you doing, man? I think that once you get the flow going, these go pretty good. And I will say it is nice to not have to deal with glue sometimes. Since I've been quarantined and I can't go out and get supplies, and I was down to the last dregs of my glue anyway, and I kept knocking the bottle over. Okay, let's work on something that doesn't require glue. There you go. Alright, so D14, do it again, D14. Invest in a good set of flush cutters, my friend. And don't cheap out. Oh, I can just use some nail clippers. No, no, no. No, we're not doing that. That one goes there. No, that one doesn't. Yeah. Oh, the wrong way. Ninko pooper, she's upside down. Okay. Alright. Good to go. Put you there. So the other thing I did was I got a resin printer, and it is the Creality CL89. And I've printed, like I said, I've printed a couple of small things like with the other build. But I've been kind of afraid to try something big, some kind of big elaborate figure. And I finally bit the bullet and said, look, you know, you got it, you spent the money on it, why? Just, you know, just do it. What have you got to lose? And so I went in and I found a 3D model of Beta Ray Bill. Go back. Just not my cuppa. So, at least not the classic. So I went out and got a 3D print because what I really want to print is an Ahsoka model. There was one at Louisville that a guy had done, and he had used those new LED light bulbs to light up the lightsabers. And it's her and the Mandalorian on a hillside. And it just looks great. See, now this doesn't want to stay together. It's good for the time being. As good as these flush cutters are, that little bit of material that's getting left there is pushing back and keeping it apart. So just go back and shave it a little bit. Okay, right there in front of you, buddy. Good. So, if I had more glue, and I weren't, that's not bad. I'd probably tack it with some glue right back there, just to make sure it stayed in place. And that one's done. I've always wanted to do this. They do this on the tested, when they were building their Gundams, they would finish a sprue and they would just go. It always looked fun. I mean, it was. It was completely fun. Okay, got those together, blah, blah, blah. All right, so we're gonna put the front vent piece in here. The nice thing about these kits is you can do as much or as little as you want. If you want to go through that's kind of what I did in preparation, because I had a couple of different choices. I could have just built it straight out of the box, no painting everything, and that probably would have worked for the purposes of just doing the live stream like that. But I knew I always want to put a little bit of paint on it. So that's when, the gray pieces, I just went and did a coat of gray. The black pieces, I did flat black, the yellow, and the orange. So let's look at this for a second. Let's take a break. This is really, it's really nice. I mean, it's very posable. The one piece that I did have a problem with was getting the upper body to press down onto the hips. It kept wanting to pop off. I've been very, very gentle with it, but the head moves, the head up and down and back and forth, right? So you get a lot of posability out of the head. These here, this orange is the orange that the model came in, and I think they're supposed to be, if you look at the box, they're like tail lights or whatever, so I probably should have painted those red or whatever, but for the purposes that I'm using this for, I think it's fine. Alright. Big feet, huge feet, but at least with the big feet, it stands upright. I'm not having too much trouble getting it to stand. I can bend the legs. I mean, great posability. Okay, now, so the one thing that the Bondis have that are maybe a step above on this is they pretty much all have a hole in the back to where you can get the stand and you can do some kind of mid-air pose, some kind of action pose. Now there is a hole right there in the bottom, right there. No base came with this, but I'm sure I could utilize that hole to do exactly what I'm saying. that I'd want if you wanted to do that action feature with it. Yeah, get up there, yeah. We're gonna put you back. We're gonna stand you back over here. Let's finish this up, and then we're gonna talk about beta radio. Okay, let's get back on here. Let's finish the back thrusters. This piece, this guy here. What is everybody working on? You get to see what I'm working on. This goes down there. See, that's a nice little detail. I mean, that's in the back of this rocket, and you may never even see that thing, but the posability is there. Gonna throw another one. Hold on, hold on. Alright. Alright. This one's done. Oh, I know. What is wrong with that guy? Okay, see, it doesn't want to stay together. Let's look at it. Alright. Okay, pull you out. It doesn't want to stay flush together, so that side's pretty clean. That's all pushed in. Let's take that off there. Like I said, I probably just have just a line of paint right there on that edge. It's keeping it from staying in together. If not, we'll glue it later. Yeah, she just doesn't want to stay together. You know what? We'll just go ahead and tack it just a tad. You're not coming back out of there now, buddy. Accelerator on there, we're good to go. Put you that. All right. So, boom, boom, boom. We're gonna take. All right. Final assembly. So, B1. 6. There you go. Boom. Put you there. We need this guy. Right. before. There you go. That goes down inside there. Ooh, come on there. If you have big hands, this could be an issue. Alright, one here. Alright. While I'm doing this, I'm finishing this little bad boy up. It also came with the hammer. So I painted that. Why don't you check that out real quick and I'll nail this down. And then we can start talking about Beta Ray Bill. So this hammer is actually 3 colors. So you've got the like the gunmetal, metallic, iron, whatever you want to call it, and then you've got the yellow. Now I want my handle silver, and this is like the only silver on this model. But instead of using the same orange, because this right here is like I said, that's the original color of the model, but it looks too plasticky, so I painted mine. I had an orange in-house, so I went with that, but I didn't want to use it on the handle, and this is actually the yellow for this copter thing that I'm using. So just to kind of tie everything all together, this yellow is going to match that. And see, this, I don't even think the plastic was actually this color. It doesn't really match. That looks more of like a construction yellow, construction orange. My orange is a little bit deeper than that, but you know, hey, whatever. Use what you got, especially since you're trapped. But let's open this and see what it looks like. There you go. Unmasking can be very satisfying, especially if it comes out really, really well. And this one looks like it did. There you go. So, I'm going to have to take his hand apart to be able to put it in his hand. And the hand isn't going to really grip it, which is, I think, is why they've got it done like that. That way gravity's just going to hold it down against one hand. If I wanted to have it held up in the air, kind of like the Optimus Prime, I don't think it's going to do that. I guess I could glue it, but okay. And here's the hammer. Let's go. Look at that. I was really happy with the way this came out with the weathering. So what I so I tried a couple of different things. So first, this is the last of the weathering solution that I made up for the jetpack, and I've used it a couple of times, and I thought, let's try this one more time. And so basically I just dropped it in there and I just gave it a good shake. But if this were a little bit more porous and it could take more liquid into it, if it were wood or something like that, I think it'd have been just fine. But being that it's plastic, it just rolled right off. So what I ended up doing was I used some of the panel accent color, some black and some brown. I used that, and instead of just putting it on, wiping it off immediately, I put it on there, slathered it all over there, set it down, and left it probably for about like 15 minutes. On the other stuff like wood or anything that would absorb it, you could put it on and wipe it back off. But this plastic, it needed time to set, and I think it really. Let's switch back over. I think it really came out real well. Just looks like it's grimy and grungy and like he's beating the crap out of Decepticons. And so again, and hey, we completed that. But so you can see the contrast. These were the same color yellow, so weathered, not weathered. I don't think I'm going to use this copter thingy. I don't know, it seems kind of silly. It doesn't match up with my Bumblebee, I guess. But it does look kind of cool. Let's put you on it. It slides right on. Yep. See, I feel like I'm going to lose the hips again. Alright, it's on there enough. There. There you go. Alright. Let's pop his hand off real quick. Lay down. On the move. Okay. See how well he actually holds this thing. Again, you could always glue it. I don't want to do that. There you go. That's not bad. That's not bad. Let's see. Closer. That's not going to focus. How about that? Oh! Oh. We are messing up. Hold on here. He's not an Autobot unless he's got an Autobot symbol on him. Ooh, that's not good. So these are actual. See, yeah. Okay, there you go. Whew. And get this on here straight. Okay. I am typically not a fan of stickers, but in this particular case, I'm okay. I'm okay with that being a sticker. Now, I do have to make a little bit of retraction. Oh, hold on. Don't move. Stand by. Okay, so in the last video I did, we did the Razor Crest. Alright, and so these stickers, okay, I made the comment that I did not like their decals. Sometimes with them you get a decal set and a sticker set. And I don't know what kind of modeling mojo they did, but it's not quite a sticker, but it's not quite a decal, because you don't have to put them in water, but they're the thinnest decals I have ever used, and I was just blown. If all their decals are like this from the future on, because with water slide decals, they get wet and you can tear them. So these are tougher than the water slide because they didn't tear, but there was still an adhesive back. It was cleared. They laid down so nicely. All right, boom, 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 to the point that I said I was not even going to use these black ones for the windows, and these laid down so well that I'm like, let's give it a shot. And so I went with the bigger ones first because those were going to be easier to lay down, and they laid down really well. The only one, and I really didn't notice it until I was looking at the video, and I could see where this one here isn't quite down in the groove, and that one's pretty good. Actually, that one I had to put a little bit of glue on to get it to lay down, but that one's not in the pocket, and that one's partially not in the pocket. But if this is where they're going with their decals, I say bravo. I'm completely in the camp of whatever they've done here. They can continue doing that. So, all right, we're gonna put you right there. So there are more stickers for Bumblebee. It looks like, for what these stickers are supposed to do, I think I would completely eliminate them, or I could just fill it with paint, because you have 2 white circles, 4 white ovals, you got some black ovals, which is probably venting or something like that. So this is going to go in the box with the rest of the spare stickers, because I could use it for something else. And then there are a couple of pieces that did not get used, though I think those are alternate foot pad pieces. Whoop. And let's see, oh, he's got a handgun. He's got a big old hand cannon. Go ahead and just put that together real quick so we don't lose it. Whoop. Pew, 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 pew. Anyway, we're gonna, enough of that. So, okay. Let's talk about Beta Ray Bill here. So, like I said, this is my very first full-scale resin print off of the CL89, and I feel like I do have a little bit of ways to go. So when you're setting this up in the slicer to print, you can rotate it in whatever orientation. And coming off of the originally come off, it was probably only supposed to be like this big. There, I got two models. So I got this one where he's standing up, and there's another one where he's on the rock, on a rock, and the detail is fabulous. I mean, that came out really, really well. I mean, even as thin as the wings are, I mean, you can see through them. They're so thin. But obviously, there was a problem with the back of the hammer. I don't know what happened there. So basically, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to shave all that off and rebuild the back of that, maybe with some putty or something. But it just makes me also think that when you're setting this up, what orientation it's gonna take to get this to go. I did not notice this one, and I wish I had switched it another way, because now I've got this support rod that goes right down the middle of his chest, which shouldn't be that hard to fix. But matter if I was paying attention in the beginning, I wouldn't have to fix it. And it's close enough to where it's just not going to pop off. It's actually part of the chest. So, sorry, I'm looking at the model and not looking at the screen. I hope I'm not blocking your view. But let's free him of some of this extra. Depending on how this looks, once I get it all taken off, I may just have to reprint this one, because it may or may not be salvageable. So, trying to get that off, and I just pulled all that out right there. I don't know if you can see it. Right there. Pulled off the bottom of his glove. Oh, well, look at that. That wasn't as hard as I expected. That does make it feel a little bit more promising. Oop. There you go. So my concern is up here, the hands and fingers. I don't want to lose any fingers. I never want to lose any fingers. That's always a. There's no situation where losing a finger is a good thing. I would have to say, unless it's lose the finger or lose a hand. But we're not going to go down that road. All right. Okay. Yeah. Look at that. There you go. Okay. So, what my original goal was, and I may redo this to see. It was so big in the printer, in the direction that I had to orient it to get in there. It was I had to just keep changing the orientation to get it all inside the print volume. So that's kind of why I ended up with what I ended up with, because originally my thought was to print it as much upside down as I could, so that a lot of this print support material would be on the cape. And so I might try that again. And this is really a test bed for printing the Ahsoka. I want to try and get all my mistakes on this one, so I know what I'm looking for, what I'm going to miss, where I'm not going to miss, and where all my cleanup's going to be. So I know I need to pay more attention to the front. That can, like I said, that's not bad. That can be sanded back pretty easily. There you go. Okay. So, for the most part, now I did also download a Batmobile from the animated series, and I figured that sucker was flat. I should have no problems printing that, and I still haven't gotten that one to print out properly, and I don't know why. It keeps releasing itself from the bed. So just cut through this. See, it still feels kind of soft here on the bottom, like this underside didn't get cured. Maybe I need to stick it back in the UV, under the UV light. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I think that's what I'll do. Facing up, so I can make sure this underside gets a good nice cure, because it does still feel a little bit soft. Looks like here at the bottom of the cape, same thing. I had something must have happened with the print material, the FEP, I think it's called. Alright. Okay. So for a model of this level, for back in the day, when we were just getting vinyl kits, this would have been more than acceptable. Even with some of the defects that we'd have to fix or whatever, this is still, and a lot of the little nubs that are stuck on there, apply enough pressure, they pop right off, so it's not that bad. Alright, so I'm going to call this good. There we go. Yeah. For a first attempt, I'm not going to complain. But I think I'm going to go stick this under the UV light and give it a little bit of a cure. And that's working pretty good. Just kind of popping off the upper round parts of that support that's right down the breastbone. Be able to sand that down pretty good with the sanding stick or whatever. Won't even be able to tell it was there. So, all right. Enough jibber jabber. Well, thank you for indulging me, and we'll try this again sometime, and we will see you on the next one. All right, thanks for coming by. Pew 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 pew.